Hello everyone, this is the Archfiend, and I want to talk to you guys about a story that's just breaking in the news, something that pisses me off on so many levels that I just can't even begin to put into words. Now, sorry to my fans that don't like the rants that I do about sports, but I'm passionate about sports, and this is a specific topic here that I just want to talk about. If you guys don't know, the Texas Rangers, the Major League Baseball team, their ownership is filing for bankruptcy. What that means is they flat out don't have money to pay the bills or payroll. And Jesus Christ, does that disgust the shit out of me. Not that the franchise mucked up their finances or anything like that, but it disgusts me from just one basic thing that baseball has become, and that is a battle of the monopolies. I'll get to that in a second here. The biggest reason why the Texas Rangers are in the situation as to where they're at, and if you look at things numbers-wise, you might be kind of confused as to why the Texas Rangers are having to declare bankruptcy. Because if you look at average attendance, the Texas Rangers are the 15th highest drawing team in the major leagues. And that means they're dead center of 30 teams. They average 28,000 paying customers to every game. So 15 teams are drawing worse than them, yet they're declaring bankruptcy. How is that possible? Well, the answer is simple, and the one main answer and symbol of why they're at where they're at revolves around one man, and that is Alex Rodriguez. Now, you may be saying, why am I mentioning some guy that plays for the New York Yankees? What does he have to do with the Texas Rangers? Well, some years ago, Alex Rodriguez played for the Texas Rangers, and they had to sign him to a very extensive multi-year deal, which amounted to $252 million. Now, this was a very high amount, but Alex Rodriguez is the best player in the game of baseball, period. No one is going to argue that. As a matter of fact, you may argue that a $252 million contract for, a multi-year amount is pretty low, considering the numbers he puts up. But it is because the Rangers signed him to this amount that they got put in such a financial rut that they just basically weren't able to dig themselves out of. And by the way, they still owe Alex Rodriguez $25 million. And he signed with the Yankees some years ago. And they probably won't ever have the money to pay him because the team may just up and die altogether. And it's not a foregone conclusion that the Texas Rangers are going to up and disappear. But if they don't sell the team, and if the ownership just says, hey, I don't want this team anymore, then bye-bye Texas Rangers. You'll no longer exist. And it's sad that it has come to this state of affairs here. And the one thing that just pisses me off more than anything else is in New York City right now, there's a number of people seeing this story, and there's a number of people that are a fan of a certain team that wears pinstripes that just don't give a shit. They could care less about what happened to the Texas Rangers. And that is why I can no longer be a fan, and why I am no longer a fan of the Yankees. I gave up on that team some years ago after being a fan of them for 26 odd years, a fan of baseball, a fan of the history of baseball, and just totally adoring the image of the Yankees being the end-all be-all definition of just history as far as baseball goes. But it's because the Texas Rangers had to sign Alex Rodriguez to a $252 million contract. Like I mentioned before, they got in this huge financial rut, but they had to sign him to this amount, because if they didn't, he would have walked to a team like the New York Yankees, which he ended up going to anyway. He would have walked to a team like that can more than afford to pay a multi-$100 million amount contract in their sleep and not even blink an eye at it. That is what disgusts me in the game, and going back to the point I made before, baseball is a battle of the monopolies, and the Yankees are the poster child of it. Yes, even the Boston Red Sox and the hometown Philadelphia Phillies here, they spend ridiculous amounts of money on free agency talent, but it's because the Yankees, they keep pushing up that payroll limit. They keep signing those free agents to higher and higher amounts. They raise that metric higher and higher every year so high that these smaller market teams cannot compete. Do you think a team like the Kansas City Royals is ever going to make the playoffs again? Do you think the Baltimore Orioles are ever going to be on top of the AL East again? The only way a small market team is going to make it to the top is simply by luck and good talent scouting. The two perfect examples of this are the Tampa Bay Rays, which made it to the World Series 2 years ago, and the Florida Marlins, which beat the Yankees in the World Series despite the Yankees having a payroll that was hundreds of millions of dollars higher than the Florida Marlins. So yeah, I know people are going to say, well, just because the Yankees spent all this money doesn't mean they're guaranteed championships. No, what it does guarantee them is the fact that teams like the Royals are never going to be able to compete. All these smaller market teams don't stand a chance. So you got to ask yourselves, when is this going to stop? When is this going to be capped? Because the Yankees have such a significant advantage just because they draw significantly more money than everyone else. And yeah, I know, bust out the violin for Archfiend. The Yankees should be punished just because they make more money. Well, no, maybe they shouldn't, but maybe things should be examined so that the sport can become competitive again by any team. I mean, my God, go back 20 years. Any team stood a shot to win a World Series. I can tell you right now, 10 teams off the top of my head that will never stand a shot of winning the World Series. Simply because the other teams that have the higher market values, that are in the larger markets, will just spend them off the table. And it's disgusting. I'm at my wit's end. I don't even know if I can enjoy baseball at this point, because a team had to suffer because it wanted to be competitive by signing the best player in the game. This team is going to up and die, and yeah, they might get bought off by some other investors that are willing to go into debt. That's what it takes to become competitive in a smaller market. Spend yourself into debt. While a big market team like the New York Yankees can spend $400 million in payroll and still clear hundreds of millions of dollars in profit. Congratulations, Yankees. Enjoy your trophies, enjoy your championships, while the sport dies behind you. That's all Yankee fans think about. They care about their team and their team only. Who gives a shit if other teams will never be able to compete? Who cares if the sport's dying off? Who cares if the only fans that are going to be excited are going to be the Yankee fans? Who gives a shit, right? My God, you New York fans disgust me, and that is why I will never be a fan of that team again. That's why my biggest passion is, and this is how sad it's come to. Yeah, I love the hometown Phillies and what they're doing here, but I've never rooted for that team. I can never get my heart behind that team just wholeheartedly because I spent so much of my life being passionate about the Yankees. And it's just so disgusting. It's just so disgusting, the state of baseball that it's at today. Battle of the monopolies. It's not a sport. I will never refer to Major League Baseball as a sport ever again. Because it's not. A sport has equal competition. You'll never get that in baseball again unless things change. But you know what? The Yankees don't care. Yankee fans don't care. Spend, spend, spend. Sign all those free agents that could put butts in seats in another stadium. Sign that big 100 RBI hitter that could be so useful on another team when your team doesn't need another hitter to put up those numbers. Jesus Christ. Yeah, all you Yankee fans, you amuse me. You amuse me that you're just so happy in the demise of the sport. And what happened to the Texas Rangers is not just going to stop at the Texas Rangers. It's going to spread to other teams. And if you're a smaller market team, if you're a fan of the Kansas City Royals, you better hope you luck out like the Tampa Bay Rays do and like the Florida Marlins do and get a shitload of young talent that you can sign to 1- and 2-year contracts before they establish their level of play and go off to wear pinstripes. So that's the only way you're going to remain competitive, is by luck. So everyone, enjoy your baseball, because I will no longer be enjoying the monopoly of baseball. And Yeah, I'll still follow it, but Jesus Christ, am I just so disgruntled at this point. As if I could hate the Yankees more, something like this happens. Holy shit. I'm gonna go watch A League of Their Own. I saw that it's on demand because I'd rather watch women play in a league from the 1940s than watch the current state of baseball. Have a great day, everyone.